and boy, do we have some new stuff that we are trying. And Wing Fighter themselves have had went out recently, stating that they wanted some new live content. They wanted more players to get involved, and who better than to team up with? And now I do have a co-host to Wing Fighter than the lovely Justine, and most of you will know Justine by being one of the greatest Discord moderators in the history. Okay, well, we'll give everybody else credit too. But I do have Justine here with me, and we came up with a pretty cool show and different type of shows. Justine in the future, again, she will be going live on Wing Fighter Talk. She will be doing some educational videos. She might talk about the drones one day. She might talk about the pilots and what she thinks that you guys should be looking out for. We are going to try to do a lot more live videos with interviews. I know a lot of our I know a lot of my subscribers have always said, "Hey, we want to see you. We want you to talk more. We want you to do more of this." And now, with the collaboration with Justine, we will be able to do some pretty cool shows. So this is our test pilot of this show of doing interviews. I will be doing the interview with Justine, and then she will possibly be doing one with me, just to kind of get our feet wet and make sure that this is going to be interesting. Really, the goal of this is again, hopefully we can share some secrets with each other, and especially some of the new players. If you have questions and different things like that, even if we don't answer some of the questions on this live stream, you're more than welcome to still ask them. And we will try to come back. And as always, on my channel, I've always tried to answer every comment that's ever been made. So don't hesitate to leave a comment, and hopefully you guys enjoy this test pilot show again. And let me introduce one last time. This is Justine, the moderator of Discord Wing Fighter Forum. And again, uh, you always hear me say this in my videos. Do I have a mentor? And yes, I do. Justine has been a huge mentor to me along my way, and I'm very honored for her to be here and for us to again, do a co-hosting on trying to make Wing Fighter better, help the players out, and answer questions. And enough of me rambling, of course. Justine, why don't you introduce yourself and how you kind of got into Wing Fighter?
Okay. Well, I am Justine Feely. You can find me under that name on Discord. I got into Wing Fighter because I really like shoot 'em up video games, and I've also been into mobile gaming for like the past 7 years. And I was playing this game called Wing for several years, and then suddenly the game just died. So I had to find a new game, and I did a search on Google Play, and Wing Fighter popped up. I'm like, I'll check this game out, and then I just played it like on and off, like maybe once every couple of days for a while. And I decided I really liked the game. And I bought the ad free, but I didn't buy anything else. I just bought
And
that
and
because I was
so
like,
so when you got into the game, I'm going to cut you off because we're going to
yeah,
forget this. I don't want to forget this part of asking you this, but when you got into the game, was it just a basic game? Was it
uh,
like still testing? Was it still beta mode kind of? I mean, is how old school are you to the players?
well, when I started playing the game like 3 years ago, there were only 20 stages. Uh,
Jeez.
there were no PvP modes except Titan Challenge, if you count that as a PvP mode. The Collection Center just came out. The Legions didn't exist. There was no Planet Wars or Star Scramble or pilots or drones,
Well,
except for
here's a
the
question. Well, here's a good question then. So if there's only 20 stages and this and that, did it take you very long to, I don't know if this is the right way to saying it, beating the game right away? I mean,
they made it pretty hard. So it was the game was a lot harder back in the day when there weren't drones. Like, drones made the campaign mode too easy, honestly.
And that was
Like,
in the beginning of the game, right? When they first had drones?
yeah, the original drones that most people probably don't even know about, they were really
Right.
bad. I'm talking
Were
about
really
them.
bad. I
Yeah.
see. I came in, I think, right after. I mean, right after that they stripped the drones. So I was always interested, and I heard old school players saying, "Oh man, I wish they'd bring the drones back." And so, but you were an actual player that actually got to play with the drones.
No, I actually just missed them as well.
Oh, okay, okay. So we're about maybe the same. Maybe you might be a little bit more old school than me, though. But so what kept you playing the game, though? I mean, what? So it was kind of beta mode, not necessarily beta mode, but just old school, 20 levels. I mean, was it that hard that you were just like, oh man, this is really challenging, and I'm going to keep playing this?
Yes, actually it was. It was quite a challenge. It took me a while. Actually, before I even got to level 20, they increased the stages to 40. But once they increased the stages to 40, they made Conqueror Wing Gun. Back then, Conqueror was the only Titan ship. Actually, in the beginning of the game, there were no Titan ships.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Um, but when they increased the stages to 40, they made Super Conqueror Wing Gun really insanely powerful. You could one shot anything in the game with it.
Holy
so I
cow!
like, to prove how OP it was, like, I unequipped all my stuff and beat the whole game with just Conqueror Wing Gun.
Are you serious? So you actually technically did beat Wing Fighter before they
At the
upgraded
time,
it.
yeah.
And so what kept you going? I mean, after you beat it, you're just like, "Oh, I'll just keep beating it," or did you know that they were gonna expand the game, or because they, added the 40 levels, you were just like, "Oh, they're gonna make more to this game."
I believe when they increased the levels to 40, they also added Planet Wars, but it wasn't the same back then. It was just like whoever had the highest BP wins a battle automatically, unless they like get bad dodges. Everyone had 10% flat chance to dodge.
Oh, geez. So there wasn't pilots back then. It was just pretty basic game then. It was
Yeah, I remember. I was just a new player. It was really hard for me to get into a legion. I was very lucky that one of the top legions in the game, Falcons, gave me a chance.
That's
and
chaotic. Is that chaotic's
uh,
Falcons?
yeah, actually, the original founder of that guild was Ciro, who doesn't play anymore. After he quit, I took control of that guild, and then Chaotic joined us. And I recall we would win all the planet wars just because of him.
Yeah, I I
And I
I
would
can
just
only
sit on a green.
imagine. I mean,
I would just sit on a green. I would
that
just sit
that
on a
that would
green
be
planet.
that would be
I
a
would just
really good legend to try to interview too.
yeah.
Hint, hint. So, but
I
yeah, you sit on a green planet and
I just sit on a green planet while he wins the game by himself. That happens a lot of times.
and it almost seems it's still the same, to be honest. It's almost yep. So, okay, so the game starts increasing and then the pilots start to come out. What did you think about the pilots? Um what was the strategy for you? Was it just like, "Hey, I just need every pilot," or did you think that there was a strategy to them adding the pilots finally, or
Uh, okay, so when pilots first came out, that's when they revamped Planet Wars, and the game became way more fun because there was lots of different ways you could build your ship, and stats actually mattered instead of just whoever had the most BP. And they might have released Thor at that time as well.
yeah, I was gonna ask
Although,
about Thor. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
so I think
although
okay.
when Thor first came out, it was really bad.
And what do you mean by
So,
bad, though? I mean, it almost seems like Thor is still a little bad.
it's bad in Titan Challenge, but it's good in everything else. Like it didn't have like advantage in PvP when it first came out. Um, except for the fact that it was energy type, which most people didn't have. What was I saying?
And so, okay, so the pilots come out. Do
Yeah,
you think
so
that
when
it
I remember
would
when they first came out, I was like, "Oh, man, like, this game is gonna get expensive," because I wasn't trying to, like, spend a ton of money, I just wanted to play a casual game, but, like, I was hooked on the game at the time. They already got me hooked, so I had to buy into
they
them.
got me hooked?
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 and then, like, a few $1,000 later, I had enough pilots to be competitive. Because back then, there
yeah.
were no discounts on pilots, you just had to buy them at face value, which is really was really expensive.
Yeah, right, right. No, it's can be a very pricey game, especially if you're uh, trying to buy into it and you're trying to be competitive. And maybe we'll get a little bit more into that side of it on a couple questions. And then, so okay, so the pilots come out, and do you feel like they added too many pilots?
No, I think it's fine. They might have, like, threw them out a little too fast, but I think it was fine. The pace was okay,
Okay,
because they
that's
planned
good to
it.
hear from you.
Because what I did with the pilots was I didn't usually buy extra pilots. I usually just did the event to the max and then that's it. And then by the time I was almost done with the pilots, they put out more. So it's kind of like they knew the pacing that players were going to collect pilots.
Okay. Yeah. Some thought they were too many. Some thought, like you said, they were released too fast. So I just figured ask you, what do you think? Do you think they should ever add more pilots?
I'm gonna say yes, only because I have a huge stockpile of tickets and SR pilot chests.
Okay, 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 okay. My thought on pilots, I mean, especially with Battlefield, I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't add another pilot and to entice the players to play Battlefield more by actually adding maybe a pilot. That's my thoughts on it. What do you think about that?
I mean, like adding
Like
a
if
hyper
you sit by
battlefield
playing,
specific pilot in the, like
kind of
for
like yeah, kinda like, Star Scramble, how
well, that's
you
not,
could only
oh
get
yeah,
those pilots through playing Star Scramble, and I
yeah,
figure that they would do that with Battlefield, and not that I'm a super fan of adding any more pilots to the game necessarily, but
yeah.
I figure they would actually entice the players just a little bit more to wanting to play Battlefield by having, like, secret stash pilots or maybe even an extra weapon hint or, different things like that. But I was a little surprised they didn't add a pilot to that personally.
Yeah, actually, I'm surprised nobody ever suggested that in the forums, or maybe they did, but I didn't see it. But I actually think that's a pretty good idea.
Well, I did from day one, and maybe we're jumping too far ahead. Maybe we'll keep going. Let's go backwards a little. We're jumping
All
a
right,
little too
sure.
far ahead. So okay, so the pilots come out. We talked about. Do you think there's too many pilots? And great answers on that. And then so then they finally roll out the drones. The
Oh
drones
yeah, my
finally
pilots
come
are all
out.
maxed, by the way, so I don't got to buy them anymore.
A lot of players are going to be jealous because of that. And but it's okay. So they roll out the drones. I mean, what were your first thoughts on the drones when they first came out, or the
um,
second time they came out? Let's say it the correct
yeah.
way.
Oh right, yeah. So um, when they first came out, uh, I didn't know what I was doing, just like anybody else. So I thought I was gonna collect all the combo bonuses first. So, but I heard that the recoil set was really good. So I bought a 1-star Apis and a 1-star Gruss, and then I started building all the end drones and R drones to get the combo bonuses. Like everybody else, all the other whales, they went straight for the SR drones.
Yep.
I
I
started from the
made a
bottom and
mistake.
went up.
Yep. I made a few drone videos, and I admitted it out loud that. 'Cause I didn't know what I was doing either. I don't you said it right. Nobody knew what they were doing, and so I went out and, of course, got the, SR drones, and then I started realizing, I'm missing all the combo bonuses, and, I kinda was kicking myself in the tail because going after the SRs, was not only highly expensive, but it would have been a lot faster and, believe it or not, cheaper in the long run to go with the N drones to the R drones to the SRs. And I totally did
Yeah,
it backwards and I regretted it. And, so that's one of my tips that, I try to tell the new players just because it looks big and pretty and you think that it can be a lot to handle, especially if you're a free player. And so,
yeah,
going after those expensive items and you're a free player, you're kind of being left in the dust sometimes because you can't upgrade it as fast as somebody doing an end drone. And then those end drones actually end up being more powerful than the SR drone. So that's always been kind of my little tip out of it. And do you have any tips for the drones? Do you have any maybe inside things that, even new players, should be looking for or how to strategize this a little bit better?
new players should definitely start out with like end burners and
Yeah, exactly.
uh and I
So,
forget what
okay, I
else.
got
I
a
don't know.
question for
I'm
you.
no expert
Okay.
on drones. Somebody would have to ask
Well,
Landblades about that.
okay, so I got a question for you. So, and we'll make this more towards like a free player necessarily, but speaking of the burner drones or the burning drones, and a lot of the free players they don't want to invest money into this, and so you hit it right on the head. They should really honestly just go after the end drones so that they're growing faster. It's easier to acquire these, but you're always getting kind of that mixture of, and we'll get into this a little bit. So a lot of the free players, they don't want to play Titan necessarily. They want to play Titan, but they're set up for PvP. And if they have
Yeah,
PvP skills, then they're doing kind of horrible. And a lot of the players that know you have to compete in Titan and in PvP, you need two different sets. You need a burning drone set for Titan,
yeah,
and you need a recoil set and maybe mix, but that's where it gets a little gray area because a lot of players are, hey, mix the drones, take your burning with the recoils, and now you have a lot of players that are doing kind of horrible in Titan because they don't have the two sets. And if you're a new player, you probably don't wanna have the 2 sets because it's gonna get a little expensive,
yeah.
doing the diamonds, changing. So what would you recommend to a new player? Would you tell them to go more after the, player versus player drone or go after the Titan? Because Planet Wars and basically, Star Scramble and Titan, you can acquire different, things through those stores. So what do you think's more important, for a new player?
Well, in the beginning, I would definitely focus on PvE because, like, you're gonna get crushed no matter what in PvP. But in PvE, like, you can get more Legion Hunt points, and you can get more points in Titan Challenge, so you can buy gear, and then you can focus. Then you can worry about PvP.
S So would you say to a new player, maybe really think about doing burning drones and not worrying about PvP? Is that kinda what I'm getting from you?
Yes, that is what my advice would be, and stick
You
with the
know?
N ones unless you got a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's kinda for me, just to the new players, and you've even watched some of my videos and stuff, but, I always say I'm a firm, this is me, this is me, this is me, okay? I don't mix drones. I have a recoil
Yeah, I know.
set just for PvP, and then I have my burning drones just for Titan, so I can maximize my Titan. I'm not mixing my burning drone, and so again, that's me. But I think you did hit it on the head. A lot of players are more into the PvP side of it, and that's player versus player. And
Yeah,
so
I
they
mean, it's
skip
pretty
over the
fun.
Titan. Well, in my videos, I agreed with you. I said the same thing plenty of times. I said um, that Titan's more important than you think. You want to get into that legend so you can get your Titan gear faster with your coins. And I'm glad that me and you kind of have the same stance on that. And I'm glad that you said that. That was actually a pretty good question to ask the master themselves of, if you're a new player, what would you do? And we can go backwards just We can go backwards just a tiny bit now on kind of the same questions, especially for the new players. Um, the pilots. How would you, as a new player, how would you, since you know what you know now, how would you go about doing your pilots as a new player? How could you help somebody maybe even save a little bit of money, or get more powerful faster, in these areas? Is there a set that you would do before anything else?
Oh yeah, there's definitely some strategies you can utilize there. Like one, don't ever spend any tickets outside of the event. Always try for
Right.
the 200 or the 300. Um, and then
That's good advice right there,
if
but
you have select,
elaborate, wait, elaborate just a little bit for the new players on what you mean by "don't spend your tickets." So,
yeah, you
you're
can save
talking
them. You
about the
don't have to
pilot
use them.
event. Well, so
Yeah,
there is a
once a
pilot
month.
event. Yep, there's a pilot event, there's a Titan event, and then there's a drone event. And so basically, what Justine was just saying, you guys don't ever want to use your pilot tickets outside of those events. And as a matter of fact, you kind of don't want to do anything outside of any of those events. You want to be patient and wait for those events to do anything so that you can get what Justine was saying. I cut her off, and but
Sorry.
to get your bonuses, basically. That's a great tip right there.
Yeah. Um,
Okay, and so
the other
going
thing,
back to my go ahead.
yeah, the other thing I was going to say is if you have selectable shards, just try to unlock as many new pilots as you can. Don't don't like pilots are cheap to upgrade in the beginning. Like try to focus on that. Don't worry about getting any specific one super high, except for maybe one that is going to be your defense break pilot.
Okay, defense break pilot. So is that for energy and physical, or does that matter?
Whichever ship you're using. I mean, I would tell new players to use Conqueror. So like, I would focus on trying to max out gun laud.
Do you think so? That's leading into some other questions, but since you said it, we might as well just lead into what you just said, though. But I have new players always asking me constantly, what do you think is the best ship? What should I be going after? And if I were to do this backwards, I would probably go Destroyer first, just personally for the PvP aspect and Legion Hunt. The missiles are ungodly powerful. And so I actually just personally, so I'm interested in normally back in the day, I would say Conquer. And so I think that's a good
Yeah.
question to you now, saying why would you pick Conquer over even Destroyer as a new player?
Just because its missiles alone can take you really far in the campaign, so you can like get ahead in the game faster, pretty
And you
much.
don't think you could do that with the destroyer missiles faster at this point, especially with
Uh,
them being more powerful for Legion Hunt and or Legion Boss and things like that? So that's a trick question a little bit because, like I said, watching all of the players with destroyer just having a heyday in player versus player. I started saying, God, man, I've made a mistake. Maybe I should have went with Destroyer a long time ago, and then finding out again what I keep bringing up is going back to Legion Boss. The missiles are pretty crucial in Legion bosses
oh
now to
yeah,
getting a higher
definitely. It's a
score, and so
requirement for every boss.
so now it's like, what do we really tell the new players? And lately, I've been telling the new players, yeah, I would probably lean towards Destroyer, just personally.
Yeah, the only reason I don't say that is because Destroyer, the ship itself, is pretty bad unless you have it completely maxed.
Okay.
With Conqueror, you can just use Conk weapons and Inferno ship and do really well.
I made it a long ways with just Conqueror. I'll always be a Conqueror fan.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was kind of locked into Conqueror because when I started playing, that was the only ship. There were no other ones, so that's what I went with.
Yeah, I was kind of old school too, and I was there before Thor came out also. So yep, I was kind of not forced to be a conqueror, but so they come out with Thor. So Thor was what was the purpose? Just to make an energy side versus a physical? Because I remember you just said a little while ago, Thor was just horrible when it came out.
Oh, yeah, it was not very good at anything really except stages and Legion
So
Hunt, but people didn't figure that out right away because, like, nobody had the money to splurge on Thor because the only way to get it was, like, the chests, which was actually, I don't think they had the selectable chest, they just had the regular chest, and it was Conqueror and Thor, so you had to just buy that and hope you got Thor.
yeah, right. So yeah, it felt like a lot of players back in the day when they got
Good
Thor had a
morning,
lot of buy.
Sam.
Well, yeah, yeah, they're saying hi to you. Yep.
Yeah, I can see the chat actually.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And so, it seemed like there was a lot of not necessarily saying it in the free sense, but there was a lot of buyer remorse into going with Thor, and it seems like a lot of players still have the buyer remorse in going with Thor. Can you
I
give
wouldn't.
them a glimmer of hope? Can you give any? Because me personally, I still am a Thor. I think in PvP it's great, but like you said, going into Titan and all this other areas, it's a really let down for so many players, and I see it and I hear it a lot actually.
Yeah, when Thor came first came out, it was bad, but it got some buffs, and now with drones, like it's not so bad in TC because the drones can pick up the slack. So it's actually a decent ship. Like you can totally pick it if you want. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm still a Thor fan. I mean, well, in a lot of cases, the Thor main gun is a pretty secret weapon to tower challenge and to some of the bosses, Legion bosses also. And so there is some perks to it, but again, that's not using the full ship. That's just using a piece of that ship. So
Yeah, for me, I recommend buying Conqueror gear and then just get Thor main gun and destroyer missile and forget about the rest of the stuff if you're on a budget.
and that's pretty much how I played the game. Again, I made it pretty far pretty quickly, being a Conqueror player too. So, well, that's incredibly good advice, though. I mean, that all makes sense. And great advice, of course, from the lovely Justine. And
Oh.
if any of you guys stopping in, this is Justine from the Discord Wing Fighter, and one of the best moderators out there. And so you're hearing it first from Justine. And okay, so going back to the
Oh, hold
drones
on.
real quick.
Ryugo is calling me out for saying Thor is bad because he's a Thor player.
Hey, 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 hey now. Oh, that's funny. And so okay, going back to just the drones real quick. We'll tap on the drone just a tiny bit more. Um, what what is the secret to having good drones? Because it's not necessarily that you have an N and an R and an SR. It really goes back to the skills. Would you agree? Your
uh,
skills are probably the most crucial part of, and so that's a question
they are.
asked to me constantly. And even though they show the skills now in player versus player and Planet Wars, I still see some crazy skill combinations
Oh
that
yeah.
players are trying to do. And I kind of just, for me, for this is me, okay. Most of the PvP skills suck, and most of the Titan
Yeah.
skills suck. I mean, so it's
Yeah.
kind of
There's
like,
like six skills that are good for PvP, and the rest of them are just kind of whatever.
I mean, is it you know I'm going to be a little harsh on Wing Fighter. I am. I'm going to be a little harsh, and now we're going to start getting tapping into a couple just things here. Okay. Do you feel like a lot of the skills are broken? Do you feel like the skills haven't been maintained by the actual game maker? Is that appropriate for me to say?
um, only cheating death is broken. The rest of them are pretty fair for
Why is
PvP.
cheating death broken? Well, that's not true. That's not true. No, 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 no. Tracking bomb has been a disaster.
Oh,
It does not work on Titan in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't work
oh, I was
on
talking about which ones were overpowered.
overpowered, okay. Well, no, I'm
Oh,
talking
okay.
about the ones that are broken. That's what I was
Oh,
saying.
oh, okay.
A lot of it seems like a lot of these skills and, especially for players, spending money on trying to get the recast and stuff like that, and then we, find out that most of the skills don't even work. I mean, that's kind of a hit towards Wing Fighter, and I think that kind of needs to be just said out loud. I mean, are a lot of these skills broken?
A couple of them, as far as I know. Tracking bomb is one of them.
I mean, that's horrible, though. I mean, so, hopefully we can encourage the wing fighter that they know that the players know that some of this isn't working, and we want it to work.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just don't think that's any worse than, like, that slug skill, which does work correctly, but is really bad.
yeah, that's true. But there's only a handful of skills, and it just seems like a lot of the players are out here. Everybody wants the golden ticket and everybody wants it handed right to them. What is the golden ticket? And a lot of the players that know me, even to this day, even though you can, see skills and stuff like that, and some, I just don't hand out burning drone skills. I don't just say, "Hey, this is what you need to do to your burning drones." And I feel like there's some things that shouldn't just be handed out, and players should, But at the same time, I kind of feel bad for the players because of what I just mentioned to you. If the skills are broken, that could be costly. It can be costly money wise, and it could be costly on trying to get into Legend on Titan. It can get
Yeah.
costly on getting beat constantly. And so, what's the happy medium with this? Do you think? Do we
Uh,
hand out the skills and just say, "Hey, no, you need to have the golden ticket now," or do we make players play the game, or how do you think that should go necessarily? Because really, again, the drones really boil down to your skills. I mean, it really
yeah, they
does.
do. The skills matter much more than which drones you pick. Like, if you have 3 gold cheating deaths, you're already way ahead of your opponent.
Yeah, that's probably the number one on each drone. That's probably the number one on the drones. Maybe we can throw another bone out to some of the new players. What would be a second must that you need on your PvP, and that's player versus player, Star Scramble, and Planet Wars? What is another skill that would be another must?
Oh,
And
Ryugo
that's all
says
we'll give
3.
them. That's all we'll give them. Okay. So,
Alright, the damage boost to all drones, or damage reduced to drone damage. One of that, they're both pretty solid. Also, Ryugo said 3 gold CD is impossible, but I actually had 3 gold CD, but my 3rd one, it's not maxed out yet. Because
yeah.
I actually sold my Fornax, and so I could build up another one that had gold CD on it. It's at Rainbow, but I need to get it to max.
So I had two. Well, I have two cheating gold deaths, and then I had a purple cheating death. And so I figured, yeah, I'm gonna take a gamble, and I totally jacked up my drone. And I have never recovered. I think I still have a green cheating death on one of my drones because I thought, but I do have four purples skills on one of them. So I'm like, yeah, do I risk even messing with that now? Or, but do you really think that damage reduce? It seems like I just have bad luck with the damage reduce skill and the recoil skill. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like it doesn't. Okay, let me reword this. So, me as a recoil player, okay, I put the recoiling skill on. I don't
Yeah,
really see a
that one's really
huge
good.
yeah, but here it is. But how is it good if you're not seeing a higher hit rate or point value to it? It just seems like the recoiling of the recoils is so, and even burning drone. So let's just say a high hit would be 300,000 versus your burning drone just got you 50,000. So is that really worth using a burning drone at that point? What is the advantage of using a burning drone for the new players? Why would somebody really want to mix a burning drone with a recoil?
To counter Gruss because Gruss is just so overpowered. It's
Do
ridiculous.
any of the burning drones counter Gruss?
Uh, I would recommend an SR to counter Gruss because the ends only have 50% chance to remove a shield, so you're still gonna get wrecked, probably.
Okay, so really, if you're going to do a burning drone mixed combo, you'd want to do an SR. But as a new player, I highly wouldn't recommend that. Because again, if you
Yeah, but
can't upgrade it,
what you could do is you could have a low star Sagittarius and 2, like, max end drones. Like, that's fine.
okay, okay, well that's good advice, and awesome. And that was actually a pretty cool discussion. 'Cause you're kind of teaching me a few things that maybe I didn't even know. So, and again, that's why I consider you one of my mentors and somebody that I lean on with the tough questions. And
Yeah,
um,
I'm not, like, the final expert on drones, though. Like, Landpage wrote a really good guide on the Strategy Hub on the Discord, so definitely check that out if you wanna learn about
so
drones.
Johnny is asking, isn't Scorpion Line supposed to counter recoil? I think it's broken.
Uh, I'm pretty sure its ability works. You get double stacks if, opponent has recoil.
Okay, so I don't know if this is uh Maximus, is that I'm trying to look over, but
Yeah,
I don't know if he's trolling or
probably.
he has guys talk about the snail and the big bullet skills. I keep getting them in yellow. And
Yeah.
so, okay, I'll answer this one though. Okay, I'm going to answer this one. So the airplane skill two, the snail, and the big bullets. And actually, Justine, what are those used for? What skills are those only used for? I'm going
Nothing?
to ask you. I'm going to tell you. Those three are only used for missions. You can't. They have no effect in Titan, and they have no effect in PvP. So avoid those like the plague.
Yeah. One time I wanted to just try, like, having, like, that gold snail and see what it does in
It
with
it
the
only
stage
works
or
in
something.
missions. It only works in missions. It slows
Yeah.
down the bullets basically, but it doesn't do anything in PvP, and it doesn't do anything in Titan. Same with the airplane. The airplane skills absolutely useless out of the missions. And then the big bullets again, they're only mission skills, and that's the way I always explain that. They're just mission skills, and I would avoid those like the plague. There's so many other better skills that are going to help you out in the overall scheme of collecting your skills. So um, that was actually pretty funny. Talk about the snail and big bullet skills. Okay, so we'll move on a little bit here. Okay, so any I always get the questions about technology. I always have like,
Oh, yeah.
what do we do with technology? What's the best setup? Because, especially when you don't have a lot of technology. Technology itself, it's so crucial to PvE setup.
Yeah.
You have a whole different PvE setup of technology, and then you have a whole different PvE or PvP technology setup. And then you have the free players, and they're trying to figure out what is the best setup for technology. And do you have any tips, or just what is your food for thought on the whole technology side of this?
Well, I could tell you what I did back when technology first came out, and I was very limited. Like, right now, I have max everything, so technology doesn't matter to me at all. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, it
but
did to me back in the day. I was getting beat up all the time in PvP, and I have an old school video, and some of the viewers probably watched it, but I started figuring out a couple of tricks in PvP and what was more important. And I know there's a lot of sheets that are passed around in legions saying,
yeah,
put 70% here, put 20% here, put 10% here. And it's kind of scattered all over the place. And, me
yeah,
personally, I figured out kind of a different way of doing it. And I've never knocked any of the sheets because I used a lot of the sheets and I used a lot of the setups that everybody passes around, and they do work though. But do you have any tips? Why don't we do it easier? Do you have any
Yeah.
tips for like the PvP setup? What do you
Okay.
think's the
Well,
most important for PvP? If you're a new player and you're trying not to get beat all the time in Planet Wars and Star Scramble, what would be important?
well, the number one thing is to put 100 points in armor HP. That's
You
the
would do
that.
armor first? You would actually do armor first?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I always did it backwards. I always did it the player against player defense and offense, and then I always did my armor last between those three. But wow, that's a very surprising to hear you say that. Actually,
yeah. And then I kind of like spread point. After that, I kind of like spread points equally among all the other things, including wing gun, because wing gun isn't bad in PvP. And so I split it between the three weapons and the air damage. Somebody said hi to you.
yeah. Hey, Chris, I'm looking over, and yeah, we're trying to juggle all of this stuff here. This is kind of a new thing for
Yeah,
both of us here, trying to figure out what do we pay attention to. But hey, Chris, hey, everybody out there.
yeah.
But you do sprinkle your technologies.
Yeah, so I spread it all around between air defense, air attack, and all three weapons, except crit damage. You can ignore that because it's bad in PvP. And I also tend to
Really?
favor crit rate a little bit. Yeah,
So
because
when I would do my tests, the crit damages and the crit rate together maxed always did better than any of the other combos I was trying.
well, see, the thing is that crit rate, like you're probably the most crit rate you can have, like if assuming like both players have maxed everything, your crit rate is going to be like 20% or maybe it's 10%. I forget. It's one of those. So anyway, no, it's 20%. Yeah, that's like the max crit rate you can have if you're a max player fighting another max player. So when you're putting points in crit damage, you're only getting 1/5 of what it says because you're only going to get a crit 1/5 of the time.
How does a player figure out what you just said? Now you're talking like crazy numbers, and how would somebody ever actually figure that out?
Be good at math. I don't know.
Let me see. Let me get my chalkboard. Let me get my and spot. Uh,
No, it's okay. I've actually helped a lot of people with this in the past because
yeah,
doing technology when you don't have a lot of points is pretty hard.
yeah. No, no, no. Totally. And
Also,
that.
oh, sorry. Also, when you're first starting out, I recommend having a PvP and a PvE set up, and it's okay to spend dimes to switch between them sometimes.
So, and same with drones. So, do have a set of burning drones. But again, it goes back to what we were just talking about. A lot of the
I wouldn't
players
do
start
that with
mixing.
drones. Too
Yeah,
expensive.
but a lot of players start mixing the burning drones with the recoils, and then they kind of jack up their little chance for actually doing good in Titan because now their burning drones are set up in PvP. Do you get what I mean now? So
Yeah,
it's kind of like a razor edge there now. It's kind of like, do I go PvP? And most players that I ever talk to, they skip over the Titan. They're just like, I'd rather do
yeah.
better in PvP or yeah, player versus player. And I'm always a little surprised. And we just had we're not going to completely go back into that conversation, but for me, I figured out a long time ago it was really important to do good in that Titan challenge.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Needed those coins, but again, Planet Wars. I mean, that's you want your teams to do good there. I mean, all of the events are pretty important. I mean,
Yeah, they are.
like I said, Battlefield's not. So now let's circle back to that real quick because I brought up a good point, and I said it right out of the gate. Why don't they have something to really entice the players to really like Battlefield a little bit more, which would be a special pilot or maybe even a special weapon or something. But the store's real grim. There's nothing really in there for us bigger players at all. It was just kind of like the king of the hill. Okay, I'm the champion of the king of the hill, and
Yeah.
so I was hoping that there was just more to it to want to play that more. And the more I play Battlefield, the more I kinda like it, but I'm still kind of
Eh,
on the fence about the event.
oh, I really like that event a lot. Also, I want to take a chance to say hi to Andres Garcia. I think if I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Oh, yeah, yeah, hey. Yeah, I think you did, Garcia, yeah,
Yeah.
how's it going, Andre?
Johnny wants to talk about how matchmaking is broken. Everybody wants to talk about how matchmaking is broken.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So Wing Fighter needs to take notes, and that's kind of what's cool about, our approach to what we're doing, with this test pilot is, hopefully Wing Fighter comes back and they really start focusing in on the comments that the players are actually putting in here. And that's really important. So, you players out there, maybe we're all helping each other. We're helping Wing Fighter maybe become a better game, and we're all helping each other become better players. But I think it's pretty important for Wing Fighter to come over and listen to these interviews and hearing it from all pros. And again, I think we do. I think we have agreed that we kind of want to interview players of all levels just to get their inputs. And
Oh yeah.
just because we're whales, maybe we're missing the point of what somebody else is saying. That's crucial. So we do need
Oh
to be
yeah.
listening to the lower level players and entry players, and wing fighters should really pay attention to everybody. I mean, it's not just one person's more important than the other. All the players are important in this game, so I just want to make sure that that's clear. So,
Oh,
but
Ryugo says we need a 1v1 PvP event. That's supposed to be the next patch whenever that comes out.
what is that? What is that? So for the players that don't understand Morse code.
Oh, one versus one player versus player event.
Yes,
Supposedly,
yes. I
they
thought they
are
were
going.
supposed to be doing that. Correct.
Yeah, but they said this patch. We've been waiting on this patch for like a month, so who knows when it's coming?
Before we get into some of that stuff, a few other things,
Oh, we will do more of these, Maximus.
and then, so just to touch on it real quick, any tips on Legion bosses? Any tips? Doesn't have
Yeah.
to be elaborate, but any
Use
tips
your
from the master?
u- use your PVE tech. It really depends on what gear you have. Like you,
So the new
most
players,
people.
wait. So you touched on something here. So the new players need to understand that you have different technologies for different parts of the game. Your
Yeah,
technology for Titan is going to be different.
yeah.
Your technology for uh, player versus player is going to be different, and you can set those up in your technology section with 4 different slots. So that way the new players can understand what we're actually saying. But yeah, you are going to use different technologies on different parts of this game. That is a good point. But yeah, so go ahead. You were saying use your PVE technology on the Legion,
Yeah.
Bob.
Like some people, they have a different setup for Legion Hunt and Titan, but back in the day, I was cheap, so I just had one setup for both. So like I had to mix up damage, reduce, and damage. But it all depends on what you got. Like if you have Conqueror ship, using full Conqueror is fine. Uh, like other than that, try to pick up Thor main gun or destroyer missile. Like Thor
So
main gun.
what's the best setup right now if you're trying to maximize your points? And you are a little bit bigger of a player. What is the best setups, or is there different setups per Legion Hunt boss? Is there different
Oh,
setups,
okay.
or does
Well,
one setup work? Or
I can tell you what I use for almost every Legion boss, but most people aren't going to be able to copy me.
okay, what is that? I mean,
so
throw it
I
out there.
use so I use destroyer ship, destroyer missile, Megatron main gun, Megatron wing gun, and Megatron shield.
Okay, so here's a question then. So you have the energy side of the transformer.
Yeah.
Let's say, so I have Optimus Prime. Would Optimus Prime 4 components with Destroyer do the same thing, do you think, as the Megatron setup that you're
Uh
doing? Or is that
No,
does that counterweight everything because now you have physical with an energy chip?
yeah, you'll lose points because one, you'll have to change to a pilot with double attack instead of Clotho, which has 120 attack. Um,
But is that just a bad mix because you're really mixing an energy with, do you wanna not mix
no, it's you can actually
physical
do
with
that.
energy?
You can
Okay.
actually do that because on Icarus, I use Phantom with a mix of energy and physical. Um, but that's the only one I use Phantom for. Otherwise, it's like Megatron stuff, Megatron and Destroyer stuff all the way. But the reason I use that is because
And that's
Megatron Wing,
every Legion boss you're using that on?
pretty much, yeah. Except for
Wow.
Chimera and Icarus, like I use that. uh,
What are you doing for those 2?
the usual stuff that you would expect. Like Chimera is I use Thor main gun, destroyer missile, destroyer ship, destroyer armor, and Megatron wing gun, and with Clotho. And Icarus, I use Phantom, destroyer missile, and the other three Megatron gears. And actually, on the Anansi, I also use the same setup that I do with Chimera, but the other bosses are all like destroyer Megatron setup.
So basically, what you're telling, everybody and, even new players, use your best stuff is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, most players are not gonna have max Megatron gear, so, like,
Yeah, sure,
you know.
but you're using your best equipment though, is basically
Yeah,
what, yeah, what you're saying. So,
yeah,
okay, well,
like, use
all right.
basically, use whatever you got, but, if you can, get Thor main gun and destroyer missile.
Yep, there and that's the truth. To really compete and to, do halfway decent, there you go. So, Thor main gun is, a big part of the Legion bosses, and now it doesn't work on every single one of them, but a big majority of them.
Yeah, like, if Megatron wing gun wasn't so good, I would use Thor main gun on more bosses.
And then, okay, so we'll touch on this just a tiny bit. Any tips for the new players on missions? Because there's that's constant. What do I do with the lasers? What do I do with, any good tips for the
Ooh.
players out there that are having a hard time getting past level 110 because of the laser?
Ha 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 ha. You just gotta be really fast. And also,
There you go.
well, first you
Okay,
gotta get lucky that it doesn't, like, target you while you're selecting your power up. But even if that happens, if you're really fast, you can actually get out of that. It's not impossible, even though people say it is.
that's true. I started, doing a lot more ground technology. I just started really pumping up when I didn't have a ton of technology, but I would pump up my ground technology, and I'd actually use a ground, pilot, and it seemed like it helped me a tiny bit.
Oh, hold on. Ryugo's asking if Hard Rock is still viable. Like, what do you mean? Is it still viable in PvP? Is that what you're asking?
Well, I know what he's talking about because I've heard it several times too. A lot of players are saying that, Hard Rock seemed to be nerfed. And some players
Nah,
kind of refuse, yeah, because then some players kind of refuse. I still use Hard Rock personally. I
me
have
too.
great luck, but I have seen that, quite a bit actually, especially a couple months ago. There was a rumor going around that Hard Rock was buffed, and a lot of players were losing faith in it.
The only reason to not use Hard Rock is if you want to go all energy, or if you need to use physical, but the opponent has a lot of burn, and you want to use Conquer to close the battle out faster, so they can't take advantage of their burn. But otherwise, Hard Rock is still king most of the time.
I've been really successful mixing. I just got my full destroyer. It's taken me
Nice.
forever, and I forgot to tell
I'm
you.
almost done.
I didn't tell you, but I did get my full destroyer, and, before I got my full destroyer, but I've been very, very, very highly successful with Hard Rock and Thor, gear, against Conquerors. And my little secret to that is I've been actually adding I've been adding my Optimus Prime shield with the hard rock and using energy weapons against conquerors, and it has been doing extremely well. So I heard you just say don't use hard rock with the energy, but boy, I've had some pretty high success using energy with hard rock. And
Oh yeah.
again,
Oh yeah. I definitely do that too. My normal setup is hard rock, destroyer missile, and 3 Megatron gears.
now is there okay? Is there a
Oh,
trick to?
but hold on. Before we continue, Rusty Monkey, he wanted to know what passives are good for TC for drones. I wanted to say that you should use the double shot, the explosive shell, and then anything that boosts normal attack damage or attack speed. But the first two ones that I mentioned, they're the
Hey,
most
don't
important.
give out all the secrets.
Oh, it's okay.
Hey, okay, so I got a question for you. You keep bringing this up, and nobody's asked you this directly, but you've said it to me a few times. You know, me and you're talking off to the side. Always keep three weapons or a shield. Is there something too that the player should know that if you're going to mix and match like your weapons, because you just said you do the missile, destroyer missile, but then you
Yeah.
have three. Do you always want to keep at least three pairs together when mixing and matching? Does that make sense? How I just asked that?
Yes, it does. And you do want to do that because then you'll get the 3 set piece bonus. And the 3 set piece bonus
Okay,
applies
there you
to
go.
everything, not just the three that you have. So,
That's a really big tip right there. That's
yeah.
huge to everybody because I know you mentioned to me a couple times, and I never really caught on to. I mean, I caught on to it. I was just like, she's always said to keep threes, and I've always kept the threes. But since I have you live and we're actually able to talk
Yeah.
to each other, so the threes ensures that you get the combo bonuses, or what? What were
Yeah.
you saying? Okay.
But like I was saying, if you have 3 pieces of a set, it gives bonus to all Titan gear, not just those three. Like, since I use 3 Megatron gears, my destroyer missile also gets the set bonus.
Oh, so it will actually increase everything then.
Yeah.
Okay, so the threes gives bonuses basically to everything. So
Yeah.
that's the secret to that. Okay,
Yeah, it's
that
pretty
makes more
important.
sense now. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a that's a really good tip there. That right there is a good tip. So I'm
Yes,
glad
it
I
is.
asked that.
Very good
Well,
tip.
we're gonna make better players than us. I don't know if we should actually do this again. Actually, so no, that's awesome. No, I mean, yeah, my main goal to the whole channel has always been just help other players out, and like I said, it's been an honor. It is an honor talking with you. Just you've helped me out so much in the game that I just felt obligated that I just see how you treat everybody. You treat everybody equally. It doesn't matter if they're a low level player, a high level player. You're just a solid person all the way around, and to helping. And I can see why you're a long lasting moderator of Discord. And I just again have always had a high admiration, and you kind of rub off on me a lot because I do want all the players to have the success and figure out how they can beat the bullies in some cases, and just but those are incredible tips. I'm glad that you said them out loud on our first pilot test of this, and
Yeah.
maybe we won't do this again though. Maybe we'll. No, I won't do. I'm just kidding. Okay, so how can players save money if they don't want to spend money, but if somebody's spending money on the game, what's your biggest tip? And I think we covered it just a little bit, but just to say it out loud
Yeah.
quickly, what would be the idea to this? Wing
Uh,
Fighter's
w-
not going to like this. Wing Fighter's not going to like this, but
oh, they won't care because they still have plenty of whales that buy everything no matter what.
okay.
uh, but I would only buy. I mean, obviously buy the ad free, and then other than that, I would only buy the piggy bank, the battle pass, the 4 battle passes, and the VIP cards. If you want to save money, like that's the best way to do it. And then
Okay.
save all your pilot tickets for the pilot event, and save all your midnight for the drone event. Bam.
I think one you didn't say, and I'm gonna throw the bone to all the listeners and to the lower level players. If you're gonna buy into the Titans, the Titan ships, don't buy into the Titan event and buy the
Oh yeah,
monthly.
it's
Yep.
so
So go ahead.
expensive. Yeah, don't do that.
So, but you'll actually get your Titan gear faster by not doing the Titan event, but going the monthly by getting basically your purple weapon chest select. Is that correct? And
Yeah.
also, you can get your shards that way, your ship shards a little bit faster that way too.
Yep, I maxed all my ships that way.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I actually maxed, all the Transformers for no reason too, so I have max pool power in the game.
do you have Optimus Max too?
Yep.
Oh no! See, you didn't tell me that.
They
So
I just happened, like,
I
a
was
couple weeks
okay,
ago.
okay, and I hope Wing Fighters listening, and I hope Wing Fighters listening, and this is what it's about. We love the game, but at the same time, they're so Wing Fighter really disappointed me with the Transformer event. I tell you what, I got my Optimus Prime during the event. It seemed like it was the most powerful ship because that's what they said. It was going to be the new Conqueror, and Megatron was going to be the new, best energy. It just seemed like after the event that they nerfed the ship so badly that do you honestly, besides you and me mix and matching stuff, do you ever see anybody play with those ships? No.
No, I don't.
Why?
Uh,
Why?
part of it's because uh,
They were
they're not
nerfed.
good. Part of it because they're not good, and part of it's because, most people don't have them.
Yeah, but kind of shame on Wing Fighter for doing that, though.
Yeah.
They rushed to have this Transformer event. Everybody was super excited to get some ships that are really custom, and if you got the ships, they're gonna be the better ships in the game. And then again, directly after the event, they just totally, in my opinion, really let the players down. They really let the players down, and I personally, the reason why I'm bringing this up and for Wing Fighter, I never bought into another Transformer again. I refuse to buy into Megatron, and I won't spend any money on it because of what Wing Fighter did with that. And I think uh, that wasn't good. And if they have other events and different things like that, they need to hold to their word on these are going to be the new Conquerors, the new, and keep it that way, and not just do it during the event. And I was really disappointed, just personally. So I'm gonna just say that out loud, and I know a lot of other players felt the same way. So, but
Yeah, I was at first too, but, um, Megatron is pretty cool, and I get a chance to show him off a lot in Planet Wars, and also he is actually very good at Legion Hunt, so there's that.
yeah, but again, unless Wing Fighter fixes those, I'm not getting a Megatron. Just personally, I'm not getting Megatron. Okay,
It
so
was good.
now
Uh,
that we're getting into kind of stuff like that, what do you see the problems with the game are? What do you see? What are the problems with the game? And I'll start with one. Okay, because Wing Fighter's not growing the game, we have an overabundance of whales coming up now. We have an overabundance of big players. There's a lot of big players in this game. There is.
there are.
And we're just, as far as the big player problems for the small players to listen to this, uh, there's nowhere to go. We're bottlenecked. There's nothing for us to do. There's no extra missions. There's nothing hard for the big players to do, and it's getting a little bit boring fighting the same big players. One player has maybe a better skill than the other, so now that they're a little bit better than that, is there something that Wing Fighter should be doing, such as making possibly a separate game for the whales now? And this would encourage the lower level players to, getting up there, to getting into a whole separate game, or how can they fix this? Because as of right now, I think that's one of the biggest problems I see with the game right now is they've totally bottlenecked all of the big players.
I feel that that is only a problem because this game has only this game is like global PvP where all the servers are combined, so new players are going to struggle against the old guard. I don't think I can see what you're getting at, but I personally don't think there should be like another tier or a separate world for whale legions. That's just
Well,
my
not
opinion, though.
legions, not legions. We're not talking about PvP. We're talking
Oh,
about
okay.
PvE.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
there was chatter in the admin channel about having hard mode for all the stages, so that could be a thing soon.
Why is Wing Fighter potentially not growing the game? Why are they not giving us new levels or new titans and new legion bosses? Why are they not trying to? Why are they just trying to put a band-aid on the game necessarily by saying, "Hey, we're gonna turn on hard mode"? I mean, you
I
know what
don't
I
know.
mean?
Honestly, I think that would be pretty fun. That would keep me busy for a while. But there is a really big patch coming. I just don't know when. I think I would wait till that comes out to make too many judgments about the game. Like it should be a good one
Okay,
as long as
okay,
it don't cost me $1 million.
um, okay. So me and you talked about this a little bit. Should Wing Fighter How can Wing Fighter make the players feel like they're winning? Because a lot of it feels like it's dead end. There's nowhere to go necessarily. It's the same thing over and over. We're kind of repeating the same thing. And I think I hit on a point with you. Should Wing Fighter try to make a storyline out of this game a little bit? Should they make it to where when you beat mission 120 that they give you a fake trophy and say at least, "Hey, good job," or do you think it's just fine the way it is, making players not feel like they're winning though? And that is the truth though. And I hear that a lot from the players also that there's no winning in the game. And a lot of the players don't feel like they are winning in the game. And a lot of them do give up because of the monotony and, again, not feeling like they're achieving anything after a period of time.
I don't know. That never bothered me. I don't really look for good storylines in games. I mean, it helps definitely. I like a good
Maybe
storyline in
not
a game.
necessarily a complete, saga of a movie, but you get what I'm saying, though. I mean, you
Yeah,
make a big achievement. They should at least say, "Hey, good job."
yeah, yeah,
Like, "Hey, good job," but instead, it's just like, "Oh, that was over." And
yeah,
so that's kind of what I mean by maybe a storyline necessarily. Just making the player feel like they won a little bit here.
yeah.
The
I don't
example
know.
again would be like level 120. You finish it, the clouds open, and a trophy comes out. Hey, good job. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of think that the campaign mode is just kind of there, and PvP is the real game.
Okay. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess. But again, there's no real winning in PvP. You're just a good legion beating everybody up, or you can kind of get
Yeah,
what I'm saying. We're still just in that monotony, though. It just feels like there's nowhere else to go. I feel like I'm mining in Egypt to build, and I'm not winning anything necessarily. Is there a way that Wing Fighter can maybe change this a little bit? I mean, is it the simple fact that they just truly need to grow the game because, especially of the whales?
Um, I don't know. Like, I'm personally not bored yet. Because as long as there's still stuff for me to collect, because I want to win at Star Scramble so I can buy gems, and I want to win at Planet Wars so I can finish my destroyer faster. And Hyper Battlefield is just fun. Like, I don't even care what the prizes are for that. It's just a fun game mode.
And I guess a couple more questions. How can Wing Fighter make a better game? So let's just cut to the chase. I know we've kind of went around in circles about this, but how
Yeah.
can Wing Fighter make this a better game?
They need more content. They got to get this patch out. Um, that's what I think. They also they need more content for whales to buy so that, they can keep the money flowing so that they can put more content out. Like, they haven't put out any paid content in a while, which really surprises me, which has allowed me to catch up to the mega whales. So
Yeah,
thanks
right,
for that.
but again, it's, everybody's catching up to each other, and, um, it's just like one big collage of, excuse my language a little bit here, crap though, because nobody's really special, out there. There's nothing really separating anybody from each other now,
Except for
and
drone
it just
skills.
well, like I said, I mean, but that's kind of where they're killing everybody is, some of the drone skills are broke. You've spent some money to get your drone skill. Now this drone skill doesn't work. And
Yeah.
now you jack up your drones. I'm sure Wing Fighter's happy about that because then you're, trying to, fix those drones. And I think there should be more to the game than just that, though, at this end stage here. And the reason why I'm saying end stage is there's no end to this. It's just like everybody, especially the whales, are sitting at the top of the ceiling here, just looking at each other, and it's getting easier and easier to not be special in the game. Um,
Yeah.
does that make sense how I'm saying that?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, there's not much separating
Like, more people
the
are
whales,
hitting the cap, they have all the stuff, basically.
right? And so, well, I think this has been just an incredible test pilot just to see if this would actually work. And,
Yeah.
I think it was, I learned a lot just, getting a chance to really sit down and talk with you. And I can't imagine what the players just learned, especially some of the newer players. And again, for everybody that's joining, for everybody that's going to come in and watch this that didn't join the live, we do apologize. We were having a lot of audio difficulties in the beginning here, trying to figure it all out. And I think we got it down packed now. But, the importance to what I'm trying to say here is wing fighters should be watching these videos. They're watching everybody's videos that are doing the lives, and then leave your comments. Again, if you guys or girls have comments that we haven't addressed or we haven't talked about, please leave them on the channel. And me and Justine, I've always been really, really, really good about coming back and commenting on and answering your questions. And who better? Because I'm going to tell you again, if I don't know the answer, I'm just going to come to Justine and ask her anyway. So
Yeah.
now, with by her being a co-host to the Wing Fighter Talk, she can come in and start answering some of those also. So don't hesitate to ask your questions and leave your good feedback about the game. Leave your bad feedback, and hopefully, Wing Fighter can start using these videos and other players' videos as tools to making this a better game and keeping what's great and maybe ditching what's not. And, we're all here just trying to have fun. At the end of this, I think my last question to you, Justine, do you think this is a great game?
Yeah. This is why I've been playing it for 3 years and I'm still here.
And I think it's a great game too, and I think most of the players that are sitting here would agree also. But again, we want to make it greater. How do we make it greater? You get real feedback from people that are playing it, like me and you. You get real feedback from the players that now joined in with us, having those questions. And like I said, leave your good comments. Be respectful. If you have anything bad to say, always be respectful. And we're all here just trying to push each other to be better players, not only better players, but better people in real life also. And most of all, we're trying to push Wing Fighter into making a better game. So, but I want to say just a tremendous thank you to Justine. You've been
Oh, yes.
amazing.
Thank you.
I'm really happy that we got together and you're a co-host of the channel now. So many players need you, as they do in Discord, and you play an incredibly vital role to keeping the community together. And so I just think you've done an amazing job. I think it's been just an amazing show, and I really look forward to doing more of this. And it looks like, let me see, it needs a gameplay skilled based PvP.
That's pot. Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that.
And
Yeah.
so we could probably sit here all night now and answer questions, but we're gonna wrap this one up.
Okay.
Again, for the players again, we're probably gonna be looking to do more interviews, basically with some of the bigger players. We do want to interview players of all levels just to get your ideas out there and things that we're missing and maybe ideas that Wing Fighter can have. So other shows that will be happening now, instead of you hearing me just talk all the time and me talk about the drones, and Justine will be doing some of these custom here in the near future. As a matter of fact, she's going to do quite a few videos, hopefully daily for a little bit, just so she can get her feet wet and give you guys even more knowledge about some of this stuff. But we do appreciate everybody that comes to this channel. I've always really appreciated you guys, and Justine also. And so again, to look for more of these in the future. Please leave your comments one last time. I'll say this one part one last time. If you have ideas for new videos, new topics, things that we didn't cover, just anything, please leave that on our comment section, and we'll look forward to putting together some other shows here. So, Justine, thank you again. This is going to be a really cool relationship, and
Yeah.
really good thing for Wing Fighter, as a whole, and especially a community. And just thank you again for all your hard work and all your testing and everything, just to make another player's day better playing this game.
Yeah.
So
Also, if anybody has any questions or problems, you can always find me on Discord. I'm here to help.
but wait. So Justine she does have her own YouTube channel also. She is new to it. She was a Twitcher. I'm going to forgive her for that, but at the same time, she has transformed over to YouTube to help me and help her, create some dialogue and to do these shows. But she will put her comment of her YouTube. And can you guys please give her a follow immediately, please? And then I do have her as a co-host in the description of the channel, just to make sure that's clear. But we do need to feed some subscribers to her. That would be another way that you can also talk to her through YouTube. So I just want to make sure that we address that real quick too. But Justine, hey, I've talked your ear off tonight, and
Yeah, it's been a long show.
so, but no, we appreciate you. Like I said, we'll have other videos coming up. Leave your comments, and I always say this at the end of my videos, guys. Don't be afraid to try something new, and just have fun.